Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. English only, right? No, English, yeah. So first of all, I would like to thank Shweta Mantani and her husband for thank you for opening your homes to all of us and having this nice gathering where we can sit and understand and discuss about the significance and importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. Everyone heard about Srimad Bhagavatam? Everyone heard? Is anyone who has not heard about Bhagavatam? I know children may not be, but anyone? Okay. So, since all of you know Srimad Bhagavatam, I would like to ask, who would like to answer? What is Srimad Bhagavatam? Krishna, you would like to? I don't want to put on the spot anyone, but I just.
Vishnu.
Yeah, wonderful. That's very nice. That's so precise and true. You know? So Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but narration about Krishna's Dasha avatars. But not only Dasha avatars, there are actually much more avatars described. But primary Dasha avatars, which people generally know about, they are described, but there are more avatars also described in Bhagavatam. So we'll try to understand today little bit different between Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So does everyone know what is Bhagavad Gita? Does everyone knows? You know Bhagavad Gita? What is Bhagavad Gita? You would like to say something? Mhm. Yes. Yes. So this Bhagavad Gita is nothing but dialogue between Krishna and Arjun on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Just before the battle is supposed to begin, Krishna spoke the message of Bhagavad Gita. So we'll try to understand a little bit what Bhagavad Gita contains and what Bhagavatam contains, a little detail. Okay. And so that it may give you some inspiration to also read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Okay. Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna almost little more than 5,000 years ago in a place called Kurukshetra. That place is still there in India. It's not just some imaginary place. So Bhagavad Gita was actually spoken little more than 5,000 years ago. And the place where it was spoken, that place is also there. With the same name, it exists. It's called Kurukshetra. If you look into Google Maps, you'll be able to find Kurukshetra. It's little northeast of Delhi on the bank of Ganga. So that's a Kurukshetra. That's where the battle took place between Kauravas and Pandavas. So, as we know, the battle of Kurukshetra was supposed to be fought between one family. It was, both the sides were actually family members only. They were cousin brothers, you know. The Kauravas, Duryodhana and his 99 brothers, and Pandavas, that is Yudhishthira Maharaj and his 4 brothers. They both were belonging to same family. Pandavas were sons of Pandu, and Kauravas were sons of Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra and Pandu were real brothers. So 2 brothers, their children, they fought that battle. And that battle was fought mainly on account of kingdom. Because Kauravas cheatingly cheated the Pandavas and took away everything from them. Okay. So the settlement was done that Pandavas will go for exile for 13 years, 12 years forest exile and 1 year incognito living. And after 13 years, they'll be given their kingdom. But after they finished their exile and incognito living 13 years of exile, they came back and Duryodhan and his party, they refused to give half the kingdom that was agreed upon. So the battle was arranged to claim that half the kingdom. And on that battlefield, when both the armies are standing facing each other, Arjun, who's one of the Pandavas, the younger brother of Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was having Krishna on his side. Krishna was his chariot driver. So uh, Arjun gets bewildered seeing his own cousin brothers in armor and ready to kill him, and he's seeing his side also his brothers ready to kill other Kauravas. His heart became very softened and he started crying, literally weeping and crying. Just for the kingdom we are fighting this battle, willing to kill each other. So thinking like that, he started crying. He didn't want to fight the battle. So at that moment, Krishna starts speaking the message of Bhagavad Gita. Because what was done by Kauravas was unfair. It was unjust. Okay. So Krishna tried to create truce between the two parties, very fair way, but Duryodhana was bent upon the non-cooperation. So it is that moment that the battle was arranged. And Arjun, when he saw the cousin brothers, the two brothers fighting, willing to fight and kill each other, he started weeping and crying. He couldn't handle this. So it is at that junction that Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita was mainly spoken to enlighten Arjun that sometime in course of executing our duties, we may have to face a situation where our own family members may be against us. No. So, although it was a battle for kingdom, right? But it was not really the battle for the kingdom. Because Arjun didn't want to fight for kingdom. He refused to Krishna. In the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, he told Krishna, Kim no Rajyena Govind. Krishna, what I'll do with Rajya? What I'll do with the kingdom? I don't want kingdom. By killing my own relative, I want kingdom. I don't want. Which sounds little nice, right, in today's context, because today's day and age, you see brothers, sisters, they drag each other to the court, right? Even for small uh, money settlement, right, or property settlement, they would drag each other to the courts. That's a very common thing nowadays, right? If you see, maximum disputes are mainly between the family relatives only. You know? So Arjun didn't want to fight. He didn't want to, uh, get the what do you call kingdom by killing his own brothers. And Krishna, he was also not encouraging Arjun to fight for kingdom. Kill your brothers just because you'll get the kingdom. No, that was not the criteria for fighting the battle. The battle was arranged, and Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to convince Arjun about. Krishna's arrangement was that Arjun should get bewildered, you know, so that Krishna can speak Bhagavad Gita for all of our benefit. Arjuna was a very exalted Vaishnava, devotee of Lord Krishna. He did not need message of Bhagavad Gita. He already knew everything. But Krishna made arrangement so that when Krishna speaks Bhagavad Gita to Arjun, that will be remembered by people all the time to come. So even today, 5,000 years later, we are still reading Bhagavad Gita and discussing Bhagavad Gita, right? And get benefited from that. So Krishna gave very wonderful lessons in Bhagavad Gita on how to live a life centered around not just uh, you know getting the mundane things of this world. He spoke Bhagavad Gita to teach how one can attain perfection of life, mainly spiritual perfection of life. So that's what Bhagavad Gita is. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita begins with explaining we are not the body, but we are spirit soul. Within this body, there's Atma. You know, and that Atma is part of Sri Krishna, Paramatma. And the goal of our life is to actually connect Atma with Paramatma. You know, right now, none of us we know we are actually totally unaware of Paramatma. We may say, "Oh yeah, I know Paramatma," but actually speaking, none of us we have any understanding about what Paramatma is and how I can actually attain Paramatma. Nobody knows that, right? So Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita mainly for that purpose. Now, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, but there's a need of somebody who can demonstrate how to live by the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, right? And that is what you find in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam begins where Bhagavad Gita ends. So Bhagavad Gita ends with giving knowledge about how to live a life centered around spiritual principles. And Bhagavatam begins from their point. How to live those by those spiritual principles. We'll try to understand today uh, what example is there in Srimad Bhagavatam and what lessons we can learn from there. Okay. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken almost 5,000 years ago after the battle of Kurukshetra, when Pandavas also retired. The grandson of Arjun, his name was Parikshit Maharaj. He became the king of the whole world. After them, he became the king. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken by a great saint, Shukadeva Goswami, to Parikshit Maharaj, who is the grandson of Arjun. So, why was spoken, Bhagavatam was spoken? We'll try to understand a little bit insight into that. Okay. So, we know that on the battle of Kurukshetra, Ashwathama. Who's Ashwathama? Everyone knows who's Ashwathama? Right. And I know nowadays movies show a lot about different characters of Mahabharata, but Ashwathama was the son of Dronacharya, the martial teacher of Pandavas and Kauravas. So Ashwathama, he tried to kill the Pandavas, but he couldn't because Pandavas were very powerful warriors. He couldn't kill them. So he tried to kill the last heir of Pandavas, who was not even born that time. He was in the womb of his mother, Uttara. Uttara was the wife of Abhimanyu, who was son of Arjuna and Subhadra. So Abhimanyu's wife, Uttara, she was pregnant at the time of battle. When the Kurukshetra war was going on, that time she was pregnant. So Dronacharya's son, Ashwathama, he released a very powerful weapon called Brahmastra at Arjun. But Arjun knew Brahmastra, so he released another Brahmastra to counteract. So Ashwathama couldn't kill Arjun. He knew that as long as Arjun is alive, he cannot kill any of the Pandavas, and he cannot kill Arjun because Arjun was, he's Nar Narayan, right? He's Nara. Narayan is Lord Krishna. So he couldn't kill Arjun. He couldn't kill Pandavas. So he released Brahmastra at thinking that, okay, I can't kill the Pandavas. Let me cause them great distress. Okay. Because Ashwathama, what he did is, Arjun's son, Abhimanyu, he was killed on the battlefield. And Pandavas had 5 more sons. Each one of them, they had one son. Them also Ashwathama killed. He killed them in an unfair way. When they were sleeping in the night, he killed them. Okay. So the only person which was left in the whole Kaurava and Pandava dynasty together was the child in the womb of his mother, Abhimanyu's son, Arjun's grandson. That time he was the womb of his mother. So what happens is, Dronacharya's son Ashwathama, he gets so angry and upset that he cannot kill the Pandavas. He releases Brahmastra at the child in the womb to abort the child. Now, of course, nowadays, that may sound like a very common thing, but in Vedic culture, 5,000 years ago at least, killing the child in the womb was unheard, unimaginable thing. Okay. But Ashwathama did that also. He tried to kill the child. And the astra that he released was a very precise and much more sophisticated weapon. Now just imagine, in today's day and age, somebody has a weapon to kill the child in the womb. No, we don't have that weapon, right? The mother doesn't get harmed, but only the child is killed. No, we don't have such weapons. But Ashwathama had that weapon, Brahmastra. He released on the child with the wish that the child in the womb of Uttara should die. So, when he released that weapon, the child in the womb was almost to be burned by that weapon. But the mother of the child, Uttara, who was the wife of Abhimanyu, she was a great devotee of Krishna. So she approached Krishna. Krishna, please, please protect my child. Let me die if you want. Let that astra, that Brahmastra kill me. I don't mind. But let my child be survive. And that's no, that's motherly nature. You know, the mothers have tremendous affection for their children. That's a different thing in today's day and age. You know, it has become common that mothers go to kill the child. In the womb. You know, that's a very unfortunate thing. You know. But 5,000 years ago, that was an unimaginable thing. Forget about 5,000. Even 40, 50 years ago, this was unimaginable thing. It was not a very common thing. You know. But with the so-called progress of society, the society has actually become much more ruthless and degraded. We may think that we have become advanced, but we have become so indifferent to the pains. The child who is actually in the womb, so much dependent on the mothers and the protection of the parents. And the mothers go and they want to get rid of the child. Right? Uttara, she pleaded Krishna, Krishna, let me die if you so desire, but let my child survive. So the Krishna, because he's Supreme Lord, he's Paramatma, he actually took the Sudarshan Chakra, he entered into the womb of Uttara. Of course, he's always there everywhere. But he manifested in the womb of Uttara. And the child in the womb, he saw Krishna coming to protect him from the Sudarshan Chakra. From Brahmastra, sorry. The Brahmastra that was released by Ashwathama was trying to attack the child, and Krishna, with Sudarshan Chakra in the hand, he actually counteracted that Brahmastra and protected the child. So this child, because he saw Krishna in the womb of his mother, he was so attracted to the beauty of Krishna. Because Krishna is Supreme Lord, right? He's the most beautiful person. So he was so attracted to beauty of the Supreme Lord. When the child came out of the womb, he started looking for that person where is the person that I'm seeing? Where is that person I've seen? So wherever he used to see, when he started growing up, wherever he used to see some man coming in yellow dhoti, he would just go and see, oh, is this Krishna? Or so, oh, this is not the same person I saw. So he used to go and do parikshan, examination. Oh, whether this is the same person which I saw in the mother's womb. Therefore, his name became famous as Parikshit. Parikshit means one who does pariksha of everyone, whether, oh, this is Krishna or no. Oh, is this Krishna or no? So he used to look for Krishna because he was so much attracted to Krishna. His whole life, he would, in the childhood especially, he would do that, looking for that Supreme Lord, Krishna. So anyway, when the time came, Pandavas, they grew old and they retired. So they put Parikshit Maharaj on the throne as the king. And they went to the forest. So Parikshit Maharaj became the king. And he was very much befitting to his family lineage. That means in heroism and in virtues, he was exactly like Pandavas. In following dharma, he was like his grandfather Yudhishthira Maharaj. In heroism, he was like Arjun. You know, so he had all the wonderful virtues, and he was also very powerful king, very good administrator. Now, one time it so happened that Parikshit Maharaj, he decided to go to the forest for hunting. Now see, Kshatriyas in those days used to go to forest hunting. And that was considered not something sinful. Why? Because Kshatriyas need to have training to kill, right? You see, when you are in administration, especially, just imagine, right? Nowadays, there are so many criminals, right? Ter- the terrorism, right? Human trafficking, drug mafia, all these are, very ruthless people. They don't mind even killing anyone. And if somebody has to subdue them, has to be also ruthless, right? So especially the law enforcement people, they have to be ruthless. Their hand should not hesitate to kill such people, right? They have to be trained in that way. So Kshatriya kings in the ancient times, they were trained in killing. So how they used to train? They used to go to the forest and kill animals. And they would not kill things like small rabbits and all. They would actually go and challenge a lion or a tiger or rhinoceros, some powerful animal which was actually threat to the sages living in the forest. So they would go and kill such animals. And after killing the animals, not that they would eat the flesh. People generally think, oh, Kshatriyas used to eat flesh. No, they were not meat eaters. They would never eat meat. They would bring the dead animal to the palace, and there the animal would be given the royal cremation. Like, lion, for example, is considered king of the forest, is the king of all animals, right? So the king would actually give royal cremation to animal of the forest, the king of the forest, after killing him. They used to give proper cremation. It was not for eating purpose that they would do hunting. So twofold purpose was there. One was to get trained in killing, okay, and second was to protect the inhabitants of forest. Especially sages and yogis. They used to live in the forest, so they used to protect them also by killing such ferocious animals. And animals were given royal cremation. Okay. So one time, Parikshit Maharaj, he decided to go for hunting. Because you see, killing requires some practice. It's not easy thing. Is anyone doctor here? No. But even somebody wants to become doctor, there is a practice needed. When they start studying, they make you cut the frogs and different animals to see how their different bodily parts function, right? Because if you don't have practice, it'll be very difficult to cut open somebody's body and see the blood coming out. It's not an easy thing. It requires some practice. Mm. I remember many years ago, I'll say at least maybe 30, 35 years ago, when I was, teenager, that time, my elder brother, he developed some boil on his leg, such big boil, you know, and he was having very acute pain. So we took him to doctor. So he was having pain, but our elder brother, the one who was elder to him also and me, he and myself, we took him to doctor because he couldn't walk nicely. So he could, put hand on our shoulders and we took him to doctor. Doctor said, I do small surgery right away, and remove the pus and he'll be all right. So we took him, okay. So doctor took him inside the, room, and he told my elder brother, who was actually elder to this middle young brother also, you also come with me and, he'll have some support. So they both went inside. I was sitting outside, waiting for surgery to finish. And I heard commotion. Within moments after they went inside, I heard commotion. I said, what happened? My eldest, the brother who was actually elder who had accompanied him, he fainted there. So I said, what happened to him? They know as soon as the doctor cut open, the boil, all the pus and blood started coming out. Seeing that, he fainted. He couldn't handle that. So just imagine, seeing little blood coming out or pus coming out, he fainted. That means ordinarily we cannot handle that. It requires some practice. You know? So the Kshatriyas were allowed to hunt for the purpose of practicing, so that they should have practice to kill unscrupulous people. Those who are disturbance to the society, they should not hesitate to kill them. That's why the kings were, they had valor. They could go in the front of the battlefield without feeling afraid that I'll be killed. Not like the modern politicians. They hide in some White House or somewhere and they send innocent people to the battle, right? Not like that. The kings used to be really heroes, great heroes. They would go in front in the battlefield. So anyway, Parikshit Maharaj went to the forest for hunting. Now what happens is, in the forest, he went deep inside the forest hunting, and he was, of course, accompanied by his ministers and all. But what happened is, when he went deeper inside the forest, somehow or other he lost contact with his ministers and other soldiers who actually accompanying him. So he went deep inside the forest alone. Okay. Finally, he was very tired, hungry, and thirsty. So, in that hunger and thirst and tremendously being tired, he started looking for some shelter where he can actually have at least some water. He was not so much worried about food, but he was very thirsty also. And because it was a deep forest, he couldn't find any canal or river flowing, so he was looking for some water. So he saw a small hermitage, because those times sages used to live in the forest. So he saw a small hermitage. Anticipating that he'll get some water there, he entered the hermitage. And what he saw in the hermitage, there was the Brahmana, the sage, sitting in the meditation, his eyes closed and completely wrapped in meditation. So he went and he said, "Sir, can I have some water? I'm very thirsty." But the sage was in rapt meditation. He couldn't hear anything. He actually did not hear anything. He repeatedly asked few times, "Sir, can I have some water? I am thirsty. Can I have some water? I am thirsty." No response. Because the sage was actually in rapt meditation. He actually did not hear king saying anything. Now somebody may think, okay, then he should have shaken him. Oh, I want some water, right? But that was considered very inappropriate. If the sage is sitting in meditation, you don't go and shake him and bring your attention to him. You simply speak words, and if he responds, it's okay. If he doesn't respond, then you understand he's in samadhi. He's in actually rapt meditation. He cannot hear. He not to be disturbed. But the king was very thirsty. So he repeatedly asked, and there was no response. The king became very angry. But of course, he was a civilized king. He was a very great personality. So he did not lose his temper, but somehow that he became angry. What kind of sage is that? I'm so thirsty and I'm just simply asking water. He's not even responding to me. So you see, sometime when people don't respond to our desire, we think, oh, this person is purposefully trying to avoid me, right? Sometimes that happens, right? In your family also, you try to make a call to your spouse and the spouse is not picking up the call. You're thinking, oh, maybe he or she is upset with me, right? So the king thought maybe the sage is trying to avoid me. He doesn't want to honor or give me some little water. He's simply trying to avoid me. So he became very angry. He looked around. Oh, this person is so cold and indifferent that he's not even honoring a guest, because I'm his guest, right? So guests should be given at least some water. So this person, because he's so cold, the king found a dead snake. It was not a live snake, it was a dead snake which has died already. Okay, so he's so cold, let me put a cold snake around his neck. So he picked up the dead snake with his bow. He didn't touch the dead snake, but he put with the bow and he picked up and he put around the neck of the sage. And then he left. He found his ministers and everyone, then he came home to his palace. Now, The sage was actually in meditation. He didn't even realize somebody has put dead snake around his neck. But some children who were the friends of the son of the sage, they saw this happening. So they went and told the son of the sage. His name was, the son's name was Rishashringa. And he was a 5-year-old boy that time. Just 5-year-old. What's your age? Huh? Huh? 7. He was younger than you. He was 5 years old child. But he was very powerful because he was son of a great sage. The boy was also powerful naturally at the age of 5. So when he heard that my father was garlanded with a dead snake, he became very angry. So he um, started speaking insulting words for the king. This king, what does he think of himself? The kings are supposed to be like watchdogs. He started speaking very disrespectfully. So he was thinking that king is actually like a dog for us. Like you keep a dog, right, to safeguard your property. He thought, similarly, the sages, for them, the Kshatriyas, the kings are like watchdogs. They should be protecting us. Now the dog wants to sit and dine with the master because Parishad Maharaj was asking water, right? So now the dog is demanding for the water or food, you know. So this dog should be taught a lesson. So what is the lesson? I curse him that he will die 7th day from today. After 7 days, he will die being bitten by a snake, a magical snake, a flying snake. He'll come and bite him and he will die. So, um, and then child started crying. Because children naturally have that tendency to cry. So first he cursed the king. He spoke the curse that after 7 days the king will die, being bitten by a snake, and he started crying. When he started crying, his father's meditation broke. So he asked the child, "What happened? Did somebody harm you?" No, 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 nobody harmed me. And the child told everything to his father. The father became very upset. He said, "My dear son, what did you do?" The king, because you are hungry and thirsty, and because I did not respond to him, he felt little angry. And what he did in little anger is not a big deal. But what you have done is the great wrong. You have cursed the king to die just for a small, insult that he did to me for putting a snake around my neck. He should die. That's a very inappropriate thing that you did. You know? But then the sage went to the palace of the king and he informed king that, my dear king, my son has cursed you like this, that you will die after 7 days. So now just imagine, Parikshit Maharaj knows he's going to die within 7 days. If somebody in this world gets that news that he has got cancer or some other disease and he's going to die in 7 days, what do you think the person will do? What the reaction would be? Can you imagine? If doctor says you are going to die in 7 days, you have only 7 days. What will be your reaction? Did we ever think of that? And if I am going to die in 7 days, what should I be doing in those 7 days? You know, did you ever think of that? No, right? Parikshit Maharaj, when he heard that I'm going to die in 7 days, he immediately put his son as the king. He didn't think, okay, I have 7 days now. Let me go on the world tour. Let me see all the different places in the world. Right? People generally may think that way. Okay, I'm going to die in 7 days. Let me go for the world tour. I want to go to different places and see those places. Right? No. But King Parikshit, he put immediately his son on the throne, and he went to the bank of river Ganga, sat down on the bank of Ganga, because there were so many sages has already come there. So many different saintly persons from all over the creation, from all over the universe. The great sages had assembled there. So, in the midst of that assembly, he asked these sages, tell me what is the duty of a person who is going to die soon. Make sense? He didn't know what I should be doing. So he asked the sages, tell me what is the duty of a dying man? If I'm going to die in 7 days, what should I do? What are the best course of activities that I should do? And that's where one of the great sages called Shukadev Goswami, he was there in that assembly. He started answering the questions of Parikshit Maharaj. So Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but the uh, answer to this question by Parikshit Maharaj. What is the duty of a dying man? Now you see, sooner or later, all of us going to die, right? Parikshit Maharaj was lucky. He knew that he's going to die in 7 days. So he had notice of 7 days. Do we know when we are going to die? We may die any moment, right? If I'm driving, suppose in the evening to some other event, I may die that moment, right? In the somebody may come and bang into me, or I may bang into somebody and I may die, right? The death can come any moment to us. So don't you think that we should also be inquiring about what is the duty of a dying man, right? So Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but answer to this one question. What is the duty of a dying person? Very interesting question, right? And that Bhagavatam is not just because it's one question, right? You may think, oh, one question means maybe within one book it should get finished, right? Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, 18 volumes, answering this one question. Very interesting way. The question is answered in a very interesting way. No? Because once you read through Bhagavatam, you will be convinced what I should be doing, what every person who's about to die should be doing. So therefore, it's our request to all of you. How many of you have Bhagavatam at home? Uh-huh. So, okay, Krishna ji, you have. Wonderful. Of course, those two Prabhus have definitely. But my suggestion would be you also get Bhagavatam at your home and start reading it. Because that Bhagavatam will give you uh, not just this one question's answer, what is the duty of a dying man, but in the course of that answering that one question, so many wonderful questions come about. There's a whole dialogue happening between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami, and uh, the questions that may arise in our mind from time to time, but we have no answer to. Like sometime, of course, here you don't get to see so much, right? We just sit. But I remember in India, we used to, sometime in the summer season, we used to sleep outside in the courtyard. Did you ever sleep in the courtyard, right? In the village? So when you sleep in the courtyard, in the night time, you look at the sky full of stars. Sometime naturally the question comes, what is there in those stars? Is anyone living there? And if somebody lives there, what they are doing, how they are different from us? Is there any way I can go there and see? Right? These kind of thoughts used to come, right? So, what is there in those stars? Who lives there? You'll find the answer in Bhagavatam. Who is God? Where is He? What is my relationship with Him? Does God really exist? All these questions you will see answered in Srimad Bhagavatam. Where does God live? If God exists, where does He live? What is His name? Everything you will find in Bhagavatam. So that's what Srimad Bhagavatam is. Bhagavad Gita is dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna. Is telling mainly about, you know, the purpose of life. But how to live that purpose of life is demonstrated in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam is mainly centered around this one theme. What is the duty of a dying man? Which is actually speaking about duties of all of us. Okay. So with this, I think we'll stop. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. Hmm? That is so. Yeah, that is such a honest thought. Um, since you called out that, that reminds me something. Uh, Mostly we hear, right? People say, "Oh, Gita, Bhagavad, that is something we'll think or read in old age, right?" Now we are young. So I'll tell you some interesting anecdote on this, which I heard in my early youthful days. So there was one king, very ambitious king. Okay. So uh, one day, one saintly person comes to his court and he's trying to tell the king about the message of Bhagavad Gita. My dear king, the life is very flickery, very short. You should try to understand Bhagavad Gita and, you know, try to perfect your life by understanding Bhagavad Gita and practicing Bhagavad Gita. And the king said, Ma, same thing, right? Bhagavad Gita, now I'm young man. I have to expand my kingdom. This is a time to be ambitious in life, right? So I'm going to expand my kingdom. You know, so give me some ashirwad, right? People generally go to ashirwad. Give me ashirwad, give me some blessing that my business should expand, right? So similarly, king said, give me some blessing that my kingdom should expand. So saintly person understood, oh, this person is not going to pay attention. He's too much into, worldly ambitions. So he said, all right, if you want to expand your kingdom, then I have one suggestion. I see you have a lot of intelligent ministers in your court who can definitely help you to expand your kingdom. But I think if you keep a fool, in fact, the greatest fool in your kingdom, you employ him as one of your ministers. Keep him, make him your mantri. Then you will be very much benefited. King said, oh, really? Yes, yes. And saying this, saintly person went away. Okay. Now, the king started looking for a fool, a really foolish person. That means who practically doesn't have much intelligence. Not only not intelligent, but he's foolish actually. So, with the help of his minister, he actually found a foolish person in his kingdom. They brought him to the king. So, king the foolish person said, "Yes, king, what is the order for me? You called me?" The king is thinking, "Oh, he's a fool. I don't want to keep him in the court. Who's going to deal with a foolish person every day on the court?" But the saintly person said that I should make him a minister, right? So, okay, I'll make him minister, but he doesn't have to stay in the court. So he told the minister, "Get me one golden stick or golden rod." So they brought the golden rod. He gave to the fool, "Hold this. This stick symbolizes that you are our foolish minister, Mahamurk Mantri." Okay. So the, the fool took the rod. He said, "Okay, is there any order for me? What can I do?" He said, "No, no, not doing. Just go wherever you want." So the fool took the stick and went away. Everybody in the kingdom got to know that he is the Mahamurk Mantri of the king, the greatest foolish minister of the king. So uh, time started going by. After some time, the king felt very sick, very sick. So the physicians, the Ayurvedic physician, they came and they did the test on the king and they said, "My dear king, no cure for your disease. You're going to die. Soon you're going to die." So king, he was saying, "Okay, death is part of life, I'm going to die. It's okay. I understand that." So he started sending messages to all his friends and relatives that I have some terminal illness, I'm going to die, so please come and meet me. So people started coming and meeting him. His friends, relatives, all were coming, and slowly the king's health was deteriorating. So finally, the king was bedridden. And at the very last moments of his life, then he remembered, "Oh, I had a Mahamurk Mantri. Where is he? I haven't seen him. I met all my friends and relatives, but I haven't seen this Mahamurk Mantri. Go find him. Bring him back here." So they found him somewhere in the kingdom. They brought to the king. Now the Mahamurk Mantri still had that golden rod in his hand, symbolizing that he is fool. So the king is thinking, now he's a fool. He's not going to understand what death is. If I tell him I'm going to die, what is going to understand? So he told the king, he told the Mahamurk, "Listen, I am going for some journey and I wanted to see you. I just want to say farewell to you." So the fool became excited. "Oh, you're going for a journey? I'll also come with you." The king said, "No, no, no, no. You cannot come with me. I have to go, but you cannot come with me on this journey." The Moork said, "Oh, I cannot come. Okay. Then I'll tell the queens, they will get ready to go with you. You have so many queens. Somebody can go with you." He said, "No, no, no, you fool, nothing. Nobody can go with me. No queens, neither minister, nobody. Even you can't come with me." So the fool became a little amazed. "Oh, nobody can go with you? You'll go alone? All right. Then I'll tell your servant to prepare your chariot because you are a king, right? If you go, you'll go on the chariot. So I'll tell your servant they will prepare your chariot because you are going for a journey, so your chariot should be ready." "No, you fool, I cannot take any chariot." "Then how you'll go?" "Just like that only. I cannot take any chariot with me." "Oh, you will go on the foot? You cannot take a chariot?" "Yeah, I cannot take the chariot." "Oh, that's very sad. Okay, I know you'll go, without chariot, but I will tell your servants, the royal cooks, to cook some food for you on the way. You can take some food with you. And I also tell the treasurer will give you some money, right? Because you're going on journey, so you should have food and money with you, right? You're going alone by yourself." "You fool, I cannot take food, no money, nothing can go with me." Now the fool became more amazed. "What kind of journey is this? Nobody can go with you. No money can go with you. You can't go on the chariot. You can't take food. What is this journey? Where are you going?" First time the king became thoughtful. Where am I going? Where am I going? I don't know where am I going. So the fool said, "You don't know where you're going? Okay, when you will come back?" "No, no, once I go, there's no coming back." No coming back. And you don't know where you're going. So why you call me Mahamurk? You hold a stick, you are Mahamurk. You know? Because if you knew that you had to go for some journey, you cannot take money, you cannot take food, you cannot take chariot, nobody can go with you, you know, then you spend your whole life in accumulating these things which you leave behind and go for journey. So you are the greatest fool, right? So now this may sound like a story of a king, right? But this is actually the story of everyone in this world, right? We spend all our life running after the things which we know we'll leave behind. You have nice home, you have nice clothing, nice cars, nice bank balance, everything will be left behind. When you go, you leave everything behind and go, right? So people spend all their life running and chasing after these things which we have to leave behind. But the thing that will go with us, we never try to accumulate. We don't even try to inquire what can actually go with us. As the worldly possessions are concerned, even a needle cannot go with us. You cannot even carry a needle with you. That will also be left behind here, right? So, if we can't even take needle, then we should try to inquire what can actually go with us. What kind of wealth I can accumulate that will go with us. Even after I die, it'll go with me. Does anyone know what kind of wealth can go with you? Huh? Huh? Good things, what you do. Well, if suppose you got people married, right? You did open some old age homes, you opened some anath ashram, you opened some hospitals. All will remain here only, right? Yes, you will have some punya of that. They'll go with you. But everything that you will do, that will also be left here only, right? What can go with us? Exactly. You remember in our India, we used to have, when somebody used to die, they used to take him to crematorium. What they used to chant on the way? Huh? Narayana, Narayana, Ram Naam, Satya Hai, right? Ram Naam, Satya Hai, Narayana, Narayana, right? That's that is the only wealth that goes with us. That means when we have the life, we should try to accumulate that wealth of Narayan's names, Krishna's name, Ram's name, and hear about them. The more you hear about them, the more you chant their names and glories, that is the only wealth that will go with us when we leave this body. Everything else will be left behind. But unfortunately, people don't try to accumulate that wealth. They try to accumulate everything else that will be left with along with the body. Hope that makes sense, right? So yeah, your point was actually very valid. People generally think, I will think of Gita and all when I grow old. But who's actually an old man? Old man doesn't mean a person who has gray hair, whose teeth are actually breaking. No, that's not really old man. One time Srila Prabhupada, I was having conversation with some gentleman and he said to Prabhupada, Swamiji, Bhagavad Gita is for old people, Old people, they can try to read. Young people, they don't have to read Bhagavad Gita. That's for old people. Prabhupada said, okay, who's the old man? You're saying Bhagavad Gita is for old man. Who's the old man? Just imagine if suppose I am, say, 53 and Krishna ji, how old are you? Huh? 67. Okay. So I am 53, he's 67. Suppose he's going to leave his body at the age of 90. Okay. So 63, right? You say 63? 67 to 90. Okay. 23 years he has, right? And suppose I am going to die at the age of 60. Suppose, hypothetically. So who is old? I'm going to die in 7 years, right? And he's going to die at the age of 90. He has 23 years. So he's older, I'm old. The person who's going to die, he's older, right? Old means who's going to die. So if I'm going to die at the age of 60, for example, then I'm much more older than him. right? So, because we don't know when we are going to die, you can assume I am old enough. Now, let me start reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Let me try to understand. You know? So we don't have to wait for old age. And let me tell you one thing: if you don't study Gita and Bhagavad in your young age, go and ask old people who thought that they will read Bhagavad Gita in their old age, if they are able to read Bhagavad Gita in the old age. No, they have so many anxieties, so many tensions. No. Sripad Shankaracharya says, बालस्थावत् क्रीडा सक्ता तरुणस्थावत् तरुणी सक्ता वृद्धस्थावत् चिंता सक्ता परे ब्रह्मणे कोपि न सक्ता. Yes, in childhood, बालस्थावत् क्रीडा सक्ता. In childhood, everybody is attached to what? Krida, playing. You want to play, right? Do you see children, they have any interest in studying or doing anything? No, they want to play whole day. And Taruna Stavat, Taruni Sakta. When a person becomes young man or young woman, they have interest in opposite sex. So young man is always thinking of some young girl is always thinking of some young man, right? They have more interest in that. And Vriddha Stavat, Chinta Sakta. When a person grows old, he becomes full of anxiety. Oh my, this son, what will happen to this? He is so immature. This daughter, how she will get married? She doesn't have any interest in getting married. How they will get settled. They have so many anxieties. So when you grow old, your anxieties go in that direction. So nobody really thinks, oh, I should read Bhagavad Gita now. Let me try to understand what is the goal of life. Nobody really does that. You know. So if you don't have habit from very young age of studying Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, take it guaranteed, no matter how old you become, how successful old man you become, you still never study Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. That habit has to come from very young age. So in the youthfulness, if you are not doing it, know for sure, old age you will have no inspiration to do it. So Bhagavad and Gita should be studied when you have energy and you are young and energetic. That time you should be studying Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Then at old age you will be able to relish Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Okay. I think you were saying something, right? That's a very good question. I will say pick up and start reading it. Okay. But keep the guidance of somebody who's experienced in reading Bhagavatam and practicing Bhagavatam in their life. So like for example, Shweta has been practicing for a long time. She has been reading and practicing. We have a couple of people behind, Ronindlal Prabhu and Praveen Prabhu. They have been practicing. They live here near only, close by. So be in touch with them, and start studying Bhagavatam on your own. If you have any questions, ask them, and if possible, the way Bhagavatam is studied is Bhagavata Padagiya Bhagavata Sthani. So Bhagavata is actually understood better in the association of people who have been studying Bhagavatam for a long time. Just like, just imagine why we go when we actually start investing in the stocks, right? Whom do we follow? Somebody who is done it, experienced, and got success in that, right? Okay, this person has good idea about which is going to go high or which is more stable stock, which can be invested for long term, So similarly in Bhagavatam also, somebody who has studied Bhagavatam and practiced it, you know, that person can actually guide you to the success. So if you want to be a success story in Bhagavatam, study of Bhagavatam, then you have to follow some successful people who have successfully practiced Bhagavatam in their life. But that's a very good question. Exactly. Exactly. You need guidance. That's true for every field. You know, any field you want to be successful, you need a guru. You cannot just study books on your own and become expert in any field. You know. Even medical field, right? For example, who becomes doctor by studying books? No, you study books, but then you go under internship, right? You actually practice under a practicing doctor. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Madhavi. Sorry. Benefits of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's a very good thing. So, uh, coming to back to the Parikshit Maharaj. So, Parikshit Maharaj asked this question, right, to Shukdev Goswami, that what is the duty of a dying man? And of course, Shukdev Goswami gave a very beautiful and scientific answer. So, I won't go into the details of that answer, but I'll just give gist, which will actually answer Mataji's question. So, Parikshit Maharaj was told by Shukdev Goswami that the duty of a dying man is, in simple words, to uh, hear and chant the glories of the Supreme Lord. Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishwaro Hari Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smrtavyascha Chatha Bhayam. So see, a person who's going to die, it's a fearful situation, right? I'm going to die in 7 days. It's a fear, right? So Shukdev Goswami told Parikshit Maharaj, Ye ichchatam akuto bhayam. Those who desire to become completely free from all fears, not just fear of death. Fear of death is the epitome, the greatest fear in this world. But Shukdev Goswami told Parikshit Maharaj that if you want to become completely fearless, ichchatam akuto bhayam, if you want to become completely free from all the fears, then tasmad bharat sarvatma bhagavan ishwaro hari shrotavya kirtitavyascha smritavya ye chatam. You know. So those who actually desire to become free from fear, they should do two things. Shrotavya, they should hear about. Hear about whom? Bhagavan, Ishwara, Hari. The same name of one personality. So Krishna is Bhagavan, he is also called Hari, he is also called Ishwara. So one should hear about Hari, who is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. You should hear about him, Shrotavya, and Kirtitavyasya. You should, after hearing, you should actually speak his glories. You should chant his glories. So this chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is nothing but chanting Krishna's glories. Now say, I was speaking for last 1 hour, right? Because I have studied Bhagavatam, therefore I can speak. But if you are not studied Bhagavatam, right, you can still speak Krishna's glories. But you don't know much, right? You know only little. You may feel, okay, how can I speak for 1 hour Krishna's glories? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra on Mala, it's like chanting Krishna's glories. Even though you don't know much, but simply by that mantra, you can actually continue glorifying Krishna. No. So the purpose of this chanting Hare Krishna is to attain the state of complete freedom from all fears. Now, is there anyone who doesn't want to become free from fears? We all want to become free from fears, right? So, Shukdev Goswami's advice is if you want to become free from fear, then chant Hare Krishna. Hear Krishna's glories from Bhagavatam and chant Hare Krishna also. So, that's the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Bhagavatam teaching us to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and also hear Krishna's glories, hear Krishna's pastimes. You want to hear Krishna's Katha? You want to hear Krishna's story? No? You know any Krishna story? Do you know? No. So I hope that answers your question, Madhini. So we chant Hare Krishna to attain the state of complete fearlessness. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for making this arrangement for everyone to come and hear this beautiful